For me, there's no compression algorithm for experience. The coders have not figured out how to write an algorithm for experience.
Remember, a turtle can only move forward when it sticks its legs out of the shell and its head out of the shell. And when is it most vulnerable? When it sticks its head and its legs out of the shell. So by definition, when he's taking the most risk is when he's making the most progress. The adrenaline rush you get out of making a lot of money is beyond your comprehension. It just is. It's like winning the World Cup day after day after day.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 for my top 10, top 10, 9. This one's for my top 10.
Need motivation?
Watch the Top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you too. You have Michael Jordan level talent at something. So get ready to become fearless. Don't let words control you and stop looking for approval. With Dan Pena and my take on his top 10 rules of success to give you the confidence, motivation, and belief that you need. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1, become fearless.
See, if you're trained as a kid like this, you have no fear. You have no fear. People say, why am I fearless? Well, I'm going to show you one of the reasons. Because that's me when I'm 13 years old with Jackie the Lion. My dad exposed me to a lot of rough shit growing up, because he wanted me to have a pair. My mother's off camera here on the left in hysterics, screaming and yelling, because the lion had just put my head in its mouth. That's the MGM line, though, you know, the one on the beginning of MGM. I've been doing stuff like this since I'm a little kid. Once you become fearless, life becomes limitless. I'm not going to ask you. One of the homework assignments we have, it's online, is what are you afraid of? Some of you have a longer list of what you're not afraid of than what you're afraid of. Why? Because you saw what your parents were afraid of. You saw what your grandparents were afraid of. You saw what your older brother was afraid of.
Rule number 2, don't let words control you.
This is a tweet from Warren a long time ago. You will continue to suffer if you have an emotional reaction to everything that is said to you. True power is sitting back and observing things with logic. True power is restraint. If words control you, that means everyone else can control you. Breathe and allow things to pass. Remember, it's not what happens to you in life. It's how you react to what happens to you, and that's what he's saying here. Now, this was early in his career when not everybody, a lot of people, everybody wanted to know what his father, how come your father didn't put money in this deal? What does your dad think of this deal? Okay, and so he was living in the shadow of his very successful investment banking father. And plus he had to learn how to sell, etc. And you know, people said, you know, if your dad didn't put, I can only imagine, if your dad didn't put money in this, Warren, you know, why should we? More or less. And he got over that. And he learned to say to himself, it's not, you know, it's how I interpret or how I react to and interpret what they say. And he obviously has gone on to be arguably the greatest investor of all time.
Rule number 3, get experience.
For me, there's no compression algorithm for experience. The coders have not figured out how to write an algorithm for experience. You cannot write an algorithm for my 50 years of experience. You cannot write an algorithm of the tens of thousands of deals I've looked at. You can't write an algorithm for the thousands of financial presentations I've made. There's no algorithm for that. And currently in the industry, there's nobody that has the sweat on my balls. I lost, taking a shit this morning, more financial acumen, financial brains than the industry has currently on the planet.
Rule number 4, be enthusiastic.
I can remember the first day I made $10,000 in a day. I can remember the first day I made $100,000 in a day. I can remember the first day I made $1 million a day. And whenever, I don't need it now, but whenever I need to resurrect my enthusiasm, I just flash back to one of those days, and I remember the day, the first time I made 100 million in a day. And those experiences put the best sex you ever had, it pales into complexion. It just doesn't exist. I mean, that's why these workaholic maniacs are workaholic maniacs. Because the adrenaline rush you get out of making a lot of money is beyond your comprehension. It just is. It's like winning the World Cup day after day after day. Or whatever the metaphor for you, you know, if it's not the World Cup, it's whatever. And I mean, and once that gets in your blood, you know, it's near impossible to get rid of it. And that's a good thing. And then it's your job to instill that same enthusiasm into the people that report up to you, your directs, as they're called. And then the next generation, they instill it in the next generation. And so, you know, I personally have a lot of the kids, you guys, that are making, you know, pretty big amounts of money. And that's my legacy. That's my legacy.
Also, if you want to have more self-love and confidence, check out my 254 series. They're free. The links to join are in the description below.
You want people with a like mind and that are better than you, smarter than you, more intelligent than you to get on your bus. But no one does know initially, up front. You have to try. You have to swing at the plate. A kid like you, if you had to keep track of 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, what you do.
Rule number 5, get tough.
So Warren says this, you know, but unfortunately, early in his career, he suffered from gross national happiness syndrome, GNP, because he wanted to make everybody happy. And you heard Margot, she's a pleaser. Now, most of you in this room have been raised by pleasers. At least one of your parents was a pleaser. Normally, it's your mom. To make peace in the house, she put up with your dad's bullshit, etc. Okay? And so that pleasing attribute, and I don't consider it an attribute, or that pleasing trait rubbed off on you. Now, my mother was a pleaser, but my dad wasn't home that often, so she didn't have to please him too often. My dad was gone most of the time. But it's tough to get over if you've been a pleaser all your life. And more women want to be pleasers than guys. It's the nurturing thing, having kids, you know, blah, 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 blah. This is not a formula or a model to be a pleaser. And you heard Peter say it, when he got tough, things changed. You heard Deb say it, when he got tough, things changed. You heard Frank say it, when he got tough, things changed. You heard Margot say it, when she got tough, things changed. And every single person you're going to hear, except for one, for the rest of the webinars, is going to say the same thing. But they all come out of the blocks, I won't say like mice, but they come out of the box with, you know, if you can win them over being nice to them, remember the word nice, I don't like, if you can win them over, then, you know, why not? And you know that old saying, you catch more flies with honey, I have some bullshit than molasses, or there's some bullshit. Well, that's bullshit. That's for molasses and flies and honey. That's not here. When they respect you, they come on your board. When they respect you, the banks lend you money. When they respect you, they put in equity money, as they did twice with Peter. Respect is the operative word, not love. Not even like. I don't even want to ask Peter if his board likes him, but now he's leading them to victory. Now their equity shares is worth something. So they may not like him at all. And a lot of people don't like me, but they respect me because they know that I'm a rainmaker. I know how to make money.
Rule number 6, surround yourself with the right people.
You can get the right people. And you will never get billionaire status unless you surround yourself with a lot of the right people. Because you can't do it by yourself. You can't.
And all these, these teams of these great companies, Google and the like, have great teams. They have great teams. And then it's a challenge to how do you continue the team? How do you continue the enthusiasm?
Rule number 7, always be prepared.
In all these preparations, and we're talking the dream team, I still prepare approximately 1 hour for every hour I talk to you. I go through the slides, I change the slides. For the guys that have been to the seminar in the last couple of years, it's not the same seminar that they went through. We have more webinars now, we have new webinars. So I'm always practicing, I'm always preparing. And so should you. You should not get complacent and think the same pitch that you used 3 months ago is going to work today. In certain areas, especially in IT and especially in artificial intelligence, there are waves, there's movements with huge change, just as the cloud is now, everybody understands, maybe not everybody, but a lot more people understand what you're talking about the cloud now than 10 years ago. Well, there are changes like that, so you have to keep up with generically, not specific. If there's something specific that's going to change your industry, then you should know about it. And you should know about it through your accountants, your lawyers, and your industry experts. So you don't just sit down after you learn a few words. You have to keep up. You have to keep up and keep prepared, because you don't want to look like a doofus. You want to, you're not going to be like a scientist, a bioscientist where you understand, all the nuances, but you have to know the general movements of the industry.
Rule number 8, stop looking for approval.
There are no secrets, there are only mysteries. Nobody knows how to keep their mouth shut. And I mean, look at you. What I tell you, don't share anything. You all do. What am I, that section at the bottom of it, what am I not telling Dan? I took a lot of shit from my brother and my mother-in-law because I told them what we were doing, and I told you not to talk to the slag. I told you, but you can't. It's so ingrained in you because you're looking for approval from these morons with not financial 40 IQs, real 40 IQs. It's so important to you to make you feel like a person because they agree. If they agree with you, you're doing the wrong thing. But you can't help yourself because all your life, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, however old you are, you've looked for somebody else's approval for validation of your own life. It's so clear. It's so clear. And the KKR guys who came out of Bear Stearns a few years before I left Bear Stearns, and they were much senior to me, know how to keep their mouth shut. Because you just can't. Do you want somebody to pat you on the head, just like when you pat you on the head? Good job. And how's that system? Where that system got you so far?
Rule number 9, dress for success.
The dress for success that we were talking about, these guys all look alike. They dress alike. Unless you're in Afghanistan or India or someplace where they're wearing the natural clothes, they all dress like businessmen, more or less like you're dressed now. And you'll learn Churchill himself, bow ties are in or out, it's okay. Another one of my mentees, and of course Klaus, and of course then there's this guy, okay. Now, you're not supposed to dress like a clown, okay? And he's wearing a suit, yes. And when you're in certain parts of the country during the summer, they do wear white linen suits, yes. So he expanded on that into where he rented that station, and he had his picture taken there at the station. I don't know where that is. I think it's someplace in Eastern Europe. But the operative is, remember, you only have one time to make a first impression. Now, for the gals know how to dress businesslike. I don't have to teach them, okay? Although we have had some women, young women, that wear skirts up to here, and low cut. Now, you get a lot of appointments dressed like that, but they're not the right kind of appointments to build a dream team. If you're looking for a husband, maybe they're the right kind. But it's really important how you dress and how you talk.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is keep swinging.
Remember, a turtle can only move forward when it sticks its legs out of the shell and its head out of the shell. And when is it most vulnerable? When it sticks its head and its legs out of the shell. So by definition, when he's taking the most risk is when he's making the most progress. And it's difficult. For some of the kids, they never get it. But I've had guys 10 years later get it. Marcus got it almost immediately when he figured out what the English words meant. You know, he got it almost immediately. Of course, if he had understood from the beginning, he'd be even more ahead than he is now. But the point is, the one guarantee is if you stop swinging at the plate, the only guarantee for sure is that you're never going to put the bat on the ball, and you're never going to be able to hit it. And in the beginning, even though a few of the kids over the years have hit grand slam home runs almost the first time they're up to bat, most hit, in baseball terminology, hit singles, doubles, etc. In cricket terminology, they score only 1 or 2 points. They're not hitting it for 6. Hitting for 6 is like a grand slam home run in baseball. But the bottom line is that they keep swinging. And it's frustrating, and it can be debilitating and depressing, or whatever the word you want to use, when you keep swinging and you're not hitting anything. I understand that. But you're on the crease in cricket terms. You're in the batter's box in baseball terms. So you're in the game. Most aren't ever in the game. They don't even make it to the stadium.
Now I have a special bonus clip from Dan on how to know how business works that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Let's go from just watching a video to taking action. Here we go. Question number 1. Where do you need to stop looking for approval? Number 2, how can you surround yourself with the right people? And number 3, where do you need to get tougher? And if you made it this far in the video, I want to celebrate you too. Give me a #believe down in the comments as well.
As soon as the fees went up from 3 or 4 or 500 million to 1 or 2 billion, and then to 3 or 4 billion, I mean, it was the deal was fee driven. But all deals are fee driven, and that's why delayed fees works. I've never had a professional accounting firm or a legal firm kill a deal that had delayed fees. Never. The fees may have gone up, but they don't kill them. They just don't. And I learned about delayed fees the hard way, because in '81 when I came to the UK, and my first roll-up was a failure, it was a 13-company roll-up, and I was stuck with about 500,000+ pounds, and at that time that was about 3.5, call it 4 to 1, about $2 million worth of fees with no deal. And then I discovered delayed fees, because then I spent the next 3 years paying off that money, because the other 12 companies that I was rolling up, this is your deal, Danny. Which it was. I was going to make the most money, so I paid the fees. But then when I came back in '84, with my scar tissue, and then we did delayed fees. But that deal worked.
If you want 10 more rules from Dan Pena, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
First of all, Bill Gates doesn't hang. Warren Buffett doesn't chill. Jeff doesn't hang. Steve didn't hang. Dan doesn't chill.